Sagoli Swakwake. This is Antonio, Doc Stater of the Iroquois Oneida History Channel. This episode, I'm reviewing the book, The Oneida Indian Experience, edited by Jack Campisi and Laurence M. Hauptman. It was published in 1988 by Syracuse University Press. And I'd have to say this is one of the first books I read on the Wisconsin Oneida history that really captivated my interest and actually influenced and motivated me to become a historian. The book also states that it's one of the first books done on Wisconsin Oneida history, and that they have been little known or written about compared to other Iroquois groups. And this book was compiled with Oneida educators, community leaders, historians, anthropologists, linguists. And the two perspectives is the non-Indian academic perspective and also the Oneida Wisconsin community perspective. That's the goal of this book. I found it very interesting. It was also where I first looked to find out information on my family history and my genealogy, and I found my ancestors listed there. Some of the thoughts I had about this book. One of the chapters talks about the Reverend Samuel Kirkland. And this is in chapter 2, and it's by James P. Randa, page 23 to 30. He talks about how Oneida warriors, young and old, allied themselves with Kirkland, and that he was supported by warriors like Shenandoah and Onondaga, and that he gave the warriors an ideological foundation for their politics, and that Samuel Kirkland angered many sachems who saw him as a threat to power, and that the warriors attached themselves to the Puritan religion of Samuel Kirkland, and that the chiefs faction favored the Anglican religion, that the warriors adopted it as a means of validating their power and rivalry with the sachems. So to me, there's a lot I don't agree with those statements. In my last video, the Oneidas and the Germans, I said that was probably the most contributing factor why the Oneidas joined the American Revolution was their relationship with the German and Dutch patriots in the Mohawk Valley, and their issues with the British, like Sir William Johnson, and how they had lost land, including villages like Oriskay, to the British policies. I also don't believe that the warriors supported Kirkland. When I look at the history and even Kirkland's own diary and journals, it looks like he was mostly supported by the chiefs, and that it was mostly chiefs that became Christians. But it was varied. There were some warriors like Pine Tree Warrior, Shenandoah, Good Peter, of course, who was always a Christian from the early days. Those were two of his most ardent supporters. The warriors, led by Hanyeri, were mainly from the Wolf clan, and they were mainly almost all pagans, which means they followed their traditional religion of their ancestors. And you can see this all through our history. So I wouldn't say that the warriors supported Kirkland. It was actually the chiefs that more supported Kirkland. And the warriors that did support Kirkland were more so on the pacifist side, so they didn't really dictate the direction of why the Oneidas chose to ally with the Americans during the American Revolution. Shenandoah and Good Peter did go on a peace mission, but they didn't take part in any battles. Those were all done by the traditional pagan warriors, mainly of the Wolf clan, led by Hanyeri, who was the war chief. Also, one of the things I saw in there was that one of the Oneida historians, Loretta Metoxen, who I considered a friend, really got to know and enjoyed talking to, went on several trips to New York and Canada with. to learn about our Oneida history. She talked about Heinrich's wife being a woman named Lucy Totter. This is on page 145 to 146. And she also later talked about her name being Dolly Copus as the wife of Heinrich Dockstader, and that she took George Washington's sword after he threw it on the ground and gave it back to him, stole the ponies to secure reinforcements, and was awarded a personal land grant for her service and gallantry. Heinrich, the original Heinrich, born in 1711, he never went by the name Dockstader. He went by his Oneida name, Dewaha Kalakwa. His wife is actually, her name was Sarah Martin, and she was a Shawnee captive born in 1738. And he had 3 children from her, Jacob, Dolly, and Cornelius. The Heinrich that she cites was born in 1745 and wouldn't have been old enough to foster these children who were 7 years older than him, 1752, 1756, and 1758. So it's impossible for him to be their father. So I just wanted to make that correction that none of the women that she mentioned was actually his wife, but it was another woman who you can see on also in the Wikipedia citation. Lastly, I love that the 3rd chapter, the 3rd section, the Oneida Reemergence, starts with chapter 7, The Oneidas of Milwaukee by Nancy O'Leary, page 101. It's really important to me since I grew up in Milwaukee, in the Oneida community here. And we have a community of now today over 2,000 Oneidas enrolled, not counting their descendants. So I'd say we're probably the 3rd largest Oneida community in the world, first being overall Wisconsin, then Oneida of the Thames in Canada, and then I would say the Oneidas of Milwaukee, and then either the Oneidas in Six Nations or the Oneidas in New York. Those are smaller communities of less than 2,000. But the Oneidas of Milwaukee have made a lot of contributions here and started a lot of different organizations, including the Indian Community School. The Consolidated Tribes of American Indians was the first one in 1937 and helped contribute to a lot of our events here too. The Indian Summer Festival had some Oneida families that were helping lead that. And I just think that we have many contributions here, which came from a lot of our history and our leadership and the structure of our people and how we were able to work together among our clans and how we had a formal structure under the Great Law of Peace that dictated how we were to be. And a lot of Oneida people in Milwaukee are also learning their language now and going to ceremonies on the reservation and taking part in things. So just wanted to do this review and how much I did enjoy the book. I know it was done in the 80s, but I still, it really made me open my eyes to what history can look like and excited me to learn more. So I thank you for listening. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and see you next time. Magiwa.